All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day so far. And I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving yesterday. Hope you guys enjoyed that that little blocks video that we did over here. That was a good time for me. Anyways, I am a fat man today, so I'm gonna kick back and watch this video from Cosgrove that had my attention. And he's so good at this because the title is "They Said One Thing, Then Did the Exact Opposite." And I have no idea what he's talking about, but I'm always intrigued, and he always ends up blowing my mind with whatever it is that he has dug up information-wise. And I'm looking forward to it. So, guys, as I always do, I'm going to link the original video from Cosgrove down in the description. I urge you to check out his channel because I saw just about a week ago or 2 weeks ago at this point that he released a video, and it was basically saying, like, you know, it's the same old story. I know you guys are tired of hearing it, but it's a real problem that his views have tanked, you know, over the course of this year, just like mine has and a lot of other channels have. His views have absolutely tanked, and he's considering walking away and, you know, just going off to do other things. He did start memberships, and hopefully that helps with him, because it's one of my favorite channels. And it's sad seeing like all of my favorite basketball channels, like, you know, channels I've been watching for like 10 plus years, and everybody is struggling. So, not gonna lie, I've had that thought too, of walking away. But, you know, I'm still here, and I'm hoping that whatever is going on passes soon and things kind of get back to normal, but only one way to find out. But anyways, shout out to Cosgrove. Appreciate your work. And without further ado, let's get into this, guys. Shout out to all channel members. I really appreciate you guys. You guys picking one or two channels or whatever to support right now. I know it's not something you have to do. Obviously, the platform is free, but you guys showing your appreciation for your favorite channels is literally keeping your favorite channels alive right now. So appreciate you. And I'll tell you what, if things ever turn back around, I'll get rid of the memberships. If things ever go back to how they were, I'll get rid of the memberships so they don't even have to exist anymore. I'll have a poll. I'll let you guys decide. How's that? But until then, I appreciate you guys helping us continue with our journey. Anyways, long outro. Happy Thanksgiving. What am I thankful for? You guys. I really am. Let's do this, huh? Like the vid if you could, hit that hype button if you could, all that stuff helps. And if you go and visit Cosgrove's video, give a little shout out from me if you could, all right? All right, let's do it.
Today, we're going to be talking about hypocrisy. Those moments when somebody preaches one thing and then turns around and completely contradicts themselves. Look,
what'd you say?
When somebody preaches
now everybody want to play for the Heat. Yeah, we saw this.
One thing and then turns around and completely contradicts themselves.
Yep.
Look, I get it. Staying consistent is hard. Life changes, situations change, and we all slip up sometimes. I'm not pretending I'm perfect either. Trust me, I've had my fair share of moments where I didn't live up to my own words. But here's the thing. If you go on record and publicly plant your flag on a certain position, you better stand on it. And when you don't, well, that's where things get interesting.
Well, and the thing is if you don't, and because we all change, we all grow, it's a journey, this life. If you change and someone calls you out on it, just go, yeah, I feel differently about that these days, but back then that's exactly how I felt about it. But I don't feel that way anymore. Accept it. But if you ignore it and you try to hide around it, you know, and pretend like it's not happening, it's just not a good look.
Today, we're calling out some of the NBA's most egregious moments of hypocrisy, because as this video will show, no matter how much we swear we'll never become that person, sooner or later, we all end up turning into the very thing we claim to hate.
For me, I think the loyalty part, that's just who I am. I roll with who I roll with, and if I was to ever not get that loyalty in return, then I can live with that because I don't expect everybody to be me.
Dame is an interesting one because he did leave, but now he's back. So it is kind of like loyalty on both sides too, though, because Portland didn't have to take him back, but they did. And then same with Dame. He could have maybe actually he didn't have very many options. I think going back to Portland was one of his only options right now. Huh. So did Portland end up being the loyal ones out of this? Cosgrove. All right, let's do it.
As a Portland Trailblazers fan,
Before this happens, can I just say, the second I saw this, hold up. Come on. Okay. The second I saw him in a Bucks uniform and Giannis is still there, I thought at least they're going to some finals. Like, I can't believe how little success those two had together. And Giannis already looks better without him. And I'm not trying to diss on Dame. I can't believe how bad the chemistry was. They went through two coaches out there too. So you can't blame the coach. Those two literally could never figure out how to play together. And I still don't understand why.
As a Portland Trailblazers fan, Damian Lillard was the first person I thought of when I came up with this video idea. I know he's back on the team and everything is all good now, but things did get pretty ugly back in 2023, and it really hurt as a Blazers fan to see the way Dame was acting. Lillard has long been viewed as one of the most loyal players in NBA history. He stayed with the franchise that drafted him through high and low.
Yeah, I've got some, sorry for the pauses. I've got some friends in the Oregon area that don't even like basketball. They don't know crap about basketball. And even they talk about Damian Lillard leaving. Like it broke the heart of the city because he was like the only guy keeping that team together, basically. He was the only one selling tickets.
Trying to win the right way, while so many of his peers were requesting trades or teaming up with other stars. For years, he preached loyalty.
Anything other than loyalty ain't worth it, you know? If it caused you to go against who you are or what you believe or, you know, what you about, then it ain't worth it. The person that I am is to, you know, be willing to sink with the ship. This team hasn't won since 77, and I want to be a part of what brings that back.
But somewhere along the line, it became harder and harder for him to stand by those words. One of the earliest signs of how strongly he...
Correct me if I'm wrong, 77 was with Bill Walton, right? Dame in 2011. I am a Heat fan, LOL, but I'm not a fan of everyone trying to make their own big three. Not good for the league. Yup, and that was in 2011. So yeah, that's the Miami Big Three.
About avoiding the easy route goes all the way back to 2011 on Twitter, when he criticized the Miami Heat for forming a super team with LeBron, Bosh, and Wade. And that ended up aging pretty badly, because 12 years later, he tried to do something very similar himself. For years, Dame brushed off the idea that he needed to leave Portland.
I do want to win a championship, but it's other stuff that means more to me.
Gotcha. I understand.
It's almost like I'm not willing to sell myself out for that.
Is it safe to say you ain't thinking about going anywhere else?
Why would I be?
He openly called out other stars for running from the grind, not realizing that the internet never forgets.
And you keep getting sent home this year, respect. Keep switching teams, running from the grind. You boys' jumps. What's sad is I love what he's saying here, but yeah, Cosgrove is right. We know what he ended up doing. It's a shame he cracked, because he was actually, I don't know. I don't even know. This one's hard. Should he have left after all those years? Maybe. Yeah. I understand why he left. But the problem is that he always talked about, you know, being loyal to your team and all that stuff. But I mean, can that last forever though? You know what I mean? Like, it used to. I guess in the 80s and the 90s it used to. It's a hard one, man. It's a hard one because we've seen what happens, you know, to guys who never won a championship or never even got close, but they were like some of the greatest players ever, but they just get forgotten about. So, like, if you played halfway through your career, like 10 years, and you were loyal to the team, and you're only going down, I guess I can understand why you want to leave. I really can. But if you guys have momentum, you know, and every year you guys are improving, think like Jordan's journey. You know, every year they're getting closer and closer. Man, if you got close and then you left, that sucks. Like, I don't agree with that.
Every tweet he sent, every interview he gave about loyalty was basically being stored away.
If I was to ever not get that loyalty in return, then I can live with that.
Waiting to be used against him if he ever changed his stance. And sure enough, in 2023, he finally did. Lillard requested a trade, specifically to the Miami Heat. A lot of people felt it was completely understandable. After everything Dame gave to Portland, the least the Blazers could do was send him to the place he wanted to go, so he'd finally have a real chance at a championship. But then Dame said something that really rubbed people the wrong way.
I think KD is, obviously, he's one of the greatest players of all time, but if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't have done that personally. If they had won it a couple times or they had won it once before he got there, I wouldn't have been able to. That ain't something that I would have did. I'd never do nothing like that. I'll lose every year before I go.
Meanwhile, without realizing how tone-deaf it sounded, he was doing almost the same thing.
Yeah.
He demanded a trade to the Miami Heat, a team that had been to the finals 2 of the last 3 years.
Yeah. See, I forgot about him wanting to go to the Heat. I forgot about this part right here. That's a bad look. That's a bad look.
He had literally just finished playing Denver in the finals like a month or 2 prior to that interview. You seriously can't make this up.
Rona, I know you have some strong thoughts on this one.
I mean, look, he wants to join the Miami Heat, and they went to the finals 2 out of 3 years. And part of Damian Lillard's brand is that he has been the loyal guy. He has been the guy who stayed, who stuck it out, who planted himself there and decided to try and make the best of it. And so, okay, you can say that now, but he's kind of trying to join a team like that.
Yeah.
Right now.
Now, to be fair, Dame going to Miami is not on the same level as Durant joining a 73-9 Warriors team, but still, he wanted to go to arguably the best team in the Eastern Conference, which would have been like cutting straight to the front of the line. Even if it's not identical, there's definitely some hypocrisy in there.
I really am bummed out. Like, in all seriousness, I'm bummed out because like Damian Lillard was supposed to not be like those other guys. You know, like that was his whole brand. This makes him a fraud, doesn't it? Well, this whole thing makes him a fraud.
It also goes to show talk is cheap. You know, who ended up doing it this generation are the people who don't really talk about it too much. Giannis is one. Steph is another one. You know, like stars who just stuck it out and never left, even though they had every opportunity to leave. And that's before their success and after their success. They've had every opportunity to leave and join super teams, but they haven't. So far, we got Jokic on that list. Hopefully he stays. I think that's about it I can think about for now.
He's been calling out
Ant-Man, looking at you.
Left and right about jumping from team to team and all that.
Why am I not surprised that Damian Lillard is a hypocrite? It is the ultimate to talk about what other people have done and then to do the same damn thing. Really?
Can I just go off on Dame Lillard for a second? You built your entire brand on loyalty. I hope he realizes how he comes across, talking about loyalty for years and years and years, and now doing this. Hey, it is
we got
as hypocritical. It is as hypocritical as anything I've ever seen in the league.
And honestly,
did he ever address it? Like, because if I remember correctly, it had something to do with because he was kind of pissed off at the front office for not doing their part to make him a contender. Does that mean that they weren't loyal to him? Didn't they try to draft a new point guard too? I don't know. Like, was this ever addressed?
Nobody would have blamed him for wanting to leave Portland for a better shot at winning if he hadn't spent years publicly staking his identity on being loyal and repeatedly criticizing other players for leaving their teams.
Because I never believe in being loyal if you're in some kind of toxic situation. You know? At that point, you got to do what you got to do, get out. And that goes for everything in life. But, yeah, he did talk about loyalty a lot. And, I mean, a lot of us do. But that's always when it's like, yeah, if you're in a bad situation and you got to get out, you got to do what you got to do for your life. But it obviously wasn't that bad if after, 2 years, he's already back with that team. He's back with the Portland Trailblazers.
Decided to join the dark side, the evil empire. And it's okay. It just is much better if you didn't have that little Twitter battle and where you were trying to be self-righteous and tell everybody else what they were doing, Chris. That's the issue I have. If he didn't go that route, do what you want.
This is the same guy who put out a song bragging about not switching sides.
Don't switch sides. Don't switch sides.
only to eventually become everything he spent years calling out. By now, we've all seen the viral clip of LeBron James walking up to Stephen A. Smith at a Lakers game and confronting him face to face.
Before we get into this, how do you feel about the Damian Lillard thing? I'm obviously, like, I never really processed it until now, and I'm obviously conflicted with it all. I understand what he did, why he did it. At the same time, he should have addressed it. You know, that's all I'm saying. You know, it's like at a certain point, just go, hey, I'm on the second half of my career now, and I don't see things improving in Portland now. So I take back what I said. You know, loyalty to a point, but not loyalty to the grave if it means like, yeah, I'm just going to sink with the ship. Like, I don't know, man. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it because I'm really conflicted.
The story goes that LeBron took issue with some of the things Stephen A. said about his son Bronny, and Stephen A. did not like how LeBron handled it. In fact, he called the move weak.
What do you make of LeBron confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit.
Smith didn't appreciate LeBron blindsiding him, saying that a conversation like that should have happened in private, not in public. But here's where things get interesting, because if you've followed Stephen A. long enough, you know that this reaction is actually pretty hypocritical. See, this is the same Stephen A. Smith who has repeatedly gone on record saying that if any NBA player has a problem with him, they are more than welcome to approach him in person.
Can I just say I've got like Stephen A. Smith burnout? It's funny because I don't even watch ESPN anymore, but now he's invaded the YouTube space, and now like he thinks he's a politician as well. Like it's too much. You got the sports guy and you got the politics guy, and it's all being meshed into one. And Stephen A. just wants to talk about everything now. You know, somebody makes one comment or something on social media about him, and he's gonna make a 50-minute rant video about it, and it's like, I don't know, man. Somebody his age can't be this petty. It really can't. So it's just like, if you're really playing these games where you're just like, all you care about is clicks, like this bad, you know, you have to reply to everything and do it on the air like this. I don't know, man. To me, it's watering down the product that is Stephen A. Smith. Like, I've seen too much of him, so I can't take him that serious anymore.
Anybody who wants to talk to him can talk.
If y'all don't know,
he's everywhere.
As long as y'all have known me, all you got to do is come talk to me.
That's it.
I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to. We could cuss each other out. You know, it doesn't matter. But we can talk as men. If I say something publicly wrong, I'm not gonna apologize privately. But there's a few of them that's just weak when it comes to just communicating as men. And I don't respect that. I don't respect that at all because I'm not that way.
He has even framed it as the grown man thing to do. Don't go to social media. Don't send messages through other people. If you got something to say it to him directly, to his face. That has been Stephen A.'s line for years.
Oh, I see exactly where this is going.
Now, when LeBron actually does exactly that, when LeBron walks up to Stephen A. directly, suddenly the entire tone changes. Now Stephen A. says the conversation should have been in private. Now it should have been handled with a phone call.
He clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do.
So everything that Stephen A. once praised as respectable somehow goes straight out the window when LeBron is the one doing it. Stephen A. has invited players for years to confront him in person if they ever felt disrespected. But when one of the biggest stars in basketball actually takes him up on that offer, suddenly the rules are different. The same action he used to call honorable.
But we can talk as men.
Yeah, but that wasn't like talking. That wasn't talking. What happened here? That was one guy basically just like cursing another guy out and then walking away. And Stephen A., it's not mutual ground here, you guys. Because LeBron is a player. He's on the court. He has the right to be on the court. Stephen A., here, watch. He says what he says and he walks away. Stephen A. can't follow him. Stephen A. is attending the game. He's not allowed on the court, even though it's Stephen A. Smith. He's not working today. You know what I mean? Wow, look at LeBron just death stare whoever's recording this. Crazy. But yeah, So I don't feel like this is mutual ground. If they were in like the locker room or so not even that, but if they were anywhere other than a basketball court, it would be mutual ground for them to have a conversation. But this is not a fair conversation.
Used to call honorable.
But we can talk as men. If I say something publicly wrong, I'm not going to apologize privately.
Is now weak.
I thought it was weak.
Now, LeBron isn't always entirely consistent either. Most NBA fans are familiar with the concept of ring culture, the idea that at the end of the day, all that matters.
But yeah, bottom line on that one, I think LeBron was. This is so stupid, but I'll just go through it fast. I think LeBron, I mean, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knows when he has an advantage, and he used it there. Now, if Stephen A was a guy of his word, like he says, all these things matter to him. If he would have addressed it once on ESPN, because everybody was asking him to do it, you know, ESPN wanted him to address it too. So if he would have just addressed it once, this is what happened, and forget about it. You know, me and LeBron are not friends. We're moving on with our lives. Done. And don't talk about it no more. But the thing is he has milked this for content to oblivion. He's still talking about this to this day. You know, all this time later, he's still talking about it. He did it on ESPN. He did it on his own YouTube channel. He went on other people's podcasts to talk about it. That's weak. That's weak, okay? So both sides in this, LeBron, weak. Stephen A, weak. You know, that's it. All right, moving on. Ring culture.
Versus championships. You can drop 30 a night. You can make all NBA teams. You can change the game itself.
Reggie.
But if you don't have a ring, then according to ring culture, your legacy is incomplete. And recently, LeBron James made it very clear that he doesn't like this mindset. Back in June of this year, LeBron went on his podcast and expressed that he has a real issue with how heavily the media and fans focus on rings.
Yeah, I watched this, and this is the most obvious hypocrisy, but it's LeBron we're talking about here, so it's easy. I don't know what all this, what the deal about ring culture is, blah, 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 blah. Says the biggest ring chaser we've ever seen in professional sports. Right. Done. Don't need to say anything else.
Judging a player's career. He said that the obsession with championships has taken away from the appreciation of overall greatness.
I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all.
I forgot. One more time for the road. Happy holidays, everybody.
I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything. I don't understand where it came from. I don't know where it started. A ring is a team accomplishment. I don't know where it started.
You left your hometown of Ohio twice because you're chasing rings. You're the biggest part of the problem, okay? That's really what it is. Why was it such a big deal for you that you had to leave your hometown? How cool is it that you got drafted for your hometown team and everybody there loved you? Win or lose, it didn't matter. Everybody loved you and supported you there. You had to leave. Why? Because you wanted a ring. Okay? And then you went back because you're like, okay, I got the ring. I got 2 rings. It's good enough. You know, let me go back and play for my hometown team. All right? Then why'd you leave again? Because you wanted more rings, LeBron. Stop being a hypocrite, bro. Just admit it. Just admit it. We'd respect you more. Say, I'm doing everything in my power as a player, as a GM, as anything I can do to get 7 championships. That's my mission in life. Just admit it, and we'd respect you a little bit more.
It's just it's a long conversation, especially when it comes to, like, you know, me individually. It's just so weird. It's so weird.
Now, I swear I'm not trying to go in on LeBron, but if we look at LeBron's own career and the decisions he's made, it becomes very clear that he does care about ring count a lot. In 2010, LeBron left Cleveland to join the Miami Heat, and while there were a lot of reasons behind that move, the most obvious one was simple. He believed that teaming up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh gave him the best chance to win championships. Not just compete, win.
Not 2, not 3, not 4.
Not the ALBL.
Not 5, not 6, not 7.
That wasn't a player who didn't care about rings.
I always have to say it. I predict 8 championships, but I'm only going to play there for 4 years.
Player who understood how much winning titles would shape how he'd be remembered. Fast forward to 2016. LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers complete one of the greatest comebacks in sports history, coming back from down 3-1 to beat the Golden State Warriors. And after that win, LeBron said something very specific, that bringing a championship to Cleveland made him the greatest player of all time.
Good one, Cosgrove. Good one. Yep. Yeah, why did that make him the greatest of all time? In his mind, why, if championships don't matter?
In other words, that ring wasn't just another accomplishment. It was the defining piece of his legacy.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time. That's what I felt.
That's what I felt.
I'm not saying he invented ring culture, but he absolutely contributed to it. He chased rings.
He made it a toxic thing. It used to be something that was just like, it was celebrated when an individual accomplished it for the franchise. You know what I mean? Like, they go out on a limb, you draft somebody, and then you watch their struggles, and then eventually they get to the top of the mountain, and that's what greatness is. Like, that's why we celebrate it so much. He took the ring culture thing to a really toxic level with all these super teams and all this manipulating the system in order to give him an advantage. He fucked it up.
Rings, and he publicly attached the idea of being the greatest to winning rings. That's why his comments feel hypocritical. With LeBron near the end of his career, his finals record is pretty much set. He has 4 championships. He has accomplished more than almost any player in NBA history, but he also knows that he is unlikely to match Michael Jordan's 6. And now, suddenly, he wants the conversation to shift away from rings, away from the thing he once chased, prioritized, and used to define him.
LeBron on NBA ring culture. Don't know where it started. Have to appreciate what guys have accomplished. A ring is a team accomplishment. So why didn't you say that the 2016 Cavs were the great? Why don't you take a page out of Michael Jordan's book, basically? Instead of saying that one right there made you the greatest player of all time, why don't you say that was the greatest team of all time because of us being able to overcome the Golden State Warriors? We wouldn't have a problem with that. We would not have a problem with that. But you had to say it's yourself, even though you're saying a ring is a team accomplishment. What about all the other guys? You didn't mention them. You just mentioned yourself and how great you are. Oh, man.
Away from rings, away from the thing he once chased, prioritized, and used to define himself. It's not hard to see what's happening here. If LeBron had 6 or 7 championships right now, he probably wouldn't be saying any of this. He wouldn't be talking about how ring culture harms players' legacies. He'd be using ring culture as proof of his greatness, just like he did in 2016. To be clear, I understand the point LeBron is making. A player's impact shouldn't be reduced to whether or not they won a championship. There have been incredible players who never won a ring. Careers are more complex than that, but the hypocrisy is impossible to ignore. For years, LeBron understood that rings were the key to legacy. He changed teams for them. He fought for them. He declared GOAT arguments based on them. And now that ring count is no longer an argument that works fully in his favor. Suddenly, the culture around rings is the problem. At the end of the day, LeBron is right that greatness is bigger than championships, but he's also the same person who taught us over and over again.
I mean, greatness is bigger than championships, but greatness is accomplished while you're chasing for a championship, when that is the goal at the end of the day, at the end of the season, at the end of the career, is to win it all. That's where greatness is developed, because of that drive to get there, you know? And I'm not talking about team swapping and super team building and all this crap like LeBron does. I mean, like, the real greatness it comes in getting to the playoffs for the first time, and then you're feeling proud of yourself. Then you get your ass kicked in the first round. Oh crap! What do I need to do different? What do I need to work on? Then you come back the next year stronger. You get to the second round, do it again. Get to the third round. All of a sudden, you're into finals. You know, you win a championship, and then that's where the greatness is happening, when you're trying to overcome all these obstacles in order to win. You know, But if you're just going to sidestep and you're going to take a shortcut and take a helicopter to the top of the mountain, this is why everyone questions your greatness. And even when I say on this channel, you're one of the top 20 greatest players of all time, I get a handful of comments in my comment section saying he doesn't embody what greatness is whatsoever. And you know what? I can't argue with you guys. I totally get what you're saying. I get it, because all the things that are supposed to define your greatness, he skipped just to go to the championship, like just to win those rings. And it's not the same, man. It's not the same.
How important those championships really are.
And I just believe that I've been a part of 2 of the hardest championships in league history. And I don't care what anyone says about that. You can debate who's the greatest of all time individually, things of that nature, and what they've done. But as far as the teams, that's one of the 2 hardest championships in league history. I've been a part of that.
Here's another example of how the person delivering the message matters. Back in April of 2024, the Oklahoma City Thunder faced off against the New Orleans Pelicans in the first round of the NBA playoffs. And after the first half of Game 2, Charles Barkley went off on live TV. He criticized the Thunder for struggling against a zone defense, saying that it's the easiest defense to figure out, and that all they had to do was move the ball.
These NBA players are so dumb. The zone defense is the easiest, Ken, am I right? It's the easiest defense in the world to play against. And all you gotta do is move the ball. And like the guys just, when they see a zone, it's like they brain lock up. Dude, move the ball. The ball moves faster than any human in the world. But these guys are so dumb, man. They don't know how to play basketball. We raising a generation of dummies.
Now that's easy for him to say, because he never actually had to play against a zone defense in his career.
That's not true. He played at Auburn University in college, and zone was all over the place back then.
NBA didn't even allow zone defenses until the 2001-02 season, after Barkley had already retired. And honestly, most fans probably wouldn't have had much of a problem with that take. There was nothing wrong with his analysis.
In fact, back then, that's what we used to, that's what was told. And as a guy growing up, I playing both man-to-man and zone, depending on the system I was in, I think man-to-man is the better defense. It takes more out of the individual to be able to stay on your guy as a defender. However, it doesn't leave all these gaps and weak spots. You know, basically there should be no opportunity in a good man-to-man defense where somebody can just catch and shoot. Like that should not exist. You know, you shouldn't have that much breathing room. But in a zone, that is the case. So we use zone in college. And I believe we also used it in the Olympic Games. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But the narrative for the NBA was zone's not good enough. Zone is not good enough for the NBA. You know, people are going to exploit the hell out of the zone. So we're just going to go man to man, you know, and make zone illegal. That changed in 2001 or 2002, I believe. And I don't see the NBA better for it. Anyways. That's my opinion on it, but I'm old, so you know the basketball knowledge goes way back.
It's about how to defeat a zone defense. It's just that it came from him. For Charles Barkley of all people to criticize players for not moving the ball, that's where the hypocrisy kicks in. Because during his own playing days, Barkley was not exactly known for quick ball movement. In fact, he would hold on to the ball for so long in the post that the NBA literally had to create a rule because of him.
They did because it worked. Because if it wasn't for the 5-second back to the basket violation, nobody could stop him in the post. He exploited it. He exploited something, you know, and it was completely legal what he was doing. And if you're not going to send a double team to help out when he's posting somebody up, then he's going to score 2 points, guaranteed. They changed those rules. But, yeah, I don't know, man.
5-second back to the basket rule was implemented to prevent exactly what Barkley used to do, backing down defenders for what felt like an eternity, just milking the clock while everyone else stood around watching. Now, to be fair, being so dominant to the point
he's
where
baiting though. He's baiting, trying to get
league had a
my John Madden pen's not working today. Never mind.
He's
He's trying to get a double team that way he can hit the open guy.
because of you is definitely a flex, but then turning around years later and calling out players for not moving the ball is not a great look. So when Barkley says today's players don't move the ball enough, maybe he should remember that he's part of the reason the NBA had to speed things up in the first place.
I mean, great video. Great video. Great video. Love Cosgrove stuff. The Barkley thing, though, like, okay. It's different. They didn't have zone. So he's commenting on how to exploit the zone defense. So when he was playing man-to-man and he was backing people up in the post, baiting for the double team so he can hit the open guy, and if the double team doesn't come, he's going to back you down all the way until you're under the rim, and he's going to dunk it. Easy 2 points. That strategy, maybe that wouldn't have worked with the zone. Okay, but we won't know because Barkley wasn't playing in the NBA with those rules, you know? And I don't think we saw him do that in college. You know, he was a different kind of player in there. So I believe that it's not really a fair assessment because if he was playing against the zone, he'd have to move the ball more, you know, like what we see nowadays. You know, he would be part of that system. How do you break the zone? Yeah, it's like Barkley said, and Kenny was agreeing. Keep moving the ball until you find a gap, because everybody is rotating. Eventually, someone's going to slip up on a defensive end. You're going to get an open shot. Like I said, that doesn't play. It doesn't play like that with man-to-man defense. So man-to-man, you're playing a different set of rules. So if he was saying, like, you know, if he was talking about man-to-man defense in the OKC scenario as opposed to zone, then I would say, yeah, you're a hypocrite, bro. Because yeah, when you were playing against man-to-man, you were backing people down in the post for 6-7 seconds at a time, you know. But he wasn't talking about man-to-man. He was talking about zone and how to counter the zone defense. And it's something I talk about whenever I break down anything that's modern, you know, with my trusty John Madden pen that's not working today. I'm always breaking down all the gaps, all the gaps and the weaknesses in the zone defense due to constant rotation and switching. You know what I mean? These are things you don't have to deal with man-to-man. You know your assignment. Your assignment is the guy that you're assigned to. Stick on him like shit, like flies on shit. That's the way it works. With zone, you're constantly having to think, okay, where do I rotate? Ball move to the right side of the court. Okay, I gotta rotate 2 steps to the left. You know, like this kind of stuff it's different, and there's more gaps. And the worst thing you can do if you're going against a zone defense is stand still. He's correct on that, because at that point you're not putting any pressure on the defense. They can just sit there in their zone and not have to move their legs whatsoever. That's the worst thing you can do. You want to tire them down. You want to drive that zone crazy by constant ball movement. So I have to say, I agree with like all of these, except for the Charles Barkley one. If you guys think I'm talking out of my ass, go ahead and put it in the comments on how you disagree with it and why you disagree with it. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. But, you know, as a guy, I played in both systems. Zone is way easier to exploit. But yeah, you can't sit there and play like ISO ball. You know what I mean? You got to move the ball around. Move the ball around, get it to an open shooter. If you're going to ISO it all, it's a fake. You're going to penetrate between two defenders to force that trap, and then you can hit an open guy. You know, it's a bait and switch situation. But anyways, you guys, I am heading out. This was a really fun one. Guys, go check out Cosgrove's channel. Link is down below in the description. Shout out to channel members. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you for being here. Like the video if you could on the way out. Hit that subscribe button if you want more content like this. And most importantly, is to be water, my friends.